up, guys? All right, look, I'm going to do this in the least politically alienating way possible because this isn't really a political thing to me, but it just happens to be politics that affects reselling right now. And it affects it in a major way. And no matter what side of the coin you're on, both sides make mistakes, and both sides have made decisions in your life that have negatively impacted you, and both sides have made decisions in your life that have positively impacted you. And so I'm not going to praise any one of them, but I am going to talk about a decision that's going to negatively impact resellers. And it's a decision that was made in politics. And we're talking about the new COVID relief bill. And of course, it would be all fun and games. It would be all great if the COVID relief bill was just about COVID relief, right? And like I said, I'm going to not try to go too deep into that about why that's terrible, but it does negatively affect us now. So essentially, we know that they're going to give $1,400 to everyone that makes $80,000 or less. And without getting too much into the details of that, it's pretty much in line with the previous relief bills as far as who's going to get the money. They're kind of toning it back a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're just trying to spend less money. Except for the fact that they're not trying to spend less money, because there are a million things in the bill that have nothing to do with COVID relief. Now, I haven't really read the 600 pages in the new bill that has passed Senate. It is now going to the House, and then it'll be signed into law by the president. I haven't obviously read all 600 pages, but I know that it doesn't take 600 pages to write that you're giving $1,400 to the American public and a little bit of cash to businesses that are struggling. So I know that a lot of that money is going to individual states to aid them, and I know that some of that money, for some reasons, even going to foreign aid. And I know in the last COVID relief bill, we did things like Iran gender studies so that we could teach Iran about, I don't know what, but apparently that's important to do right now. And it's very important to get that done right now. And then we also did a ton of studies on fish. There was an amberjack fish shortage in the Gulf that we studied, the Asian carp. This was all in our last COVID relief bill. And you can say that, it was part of a different bill that gets passed together. But at the end of the day, it's like they wrote it together in one thing. That's one binding, 600 pages. So why did they put it together? And so in order to pay for all of this, and I will go into saying that 21 different states actually did, they made more money than they budgeted for the year. So they, you would think that those states, out-kicked their coverage, right? They made more money than they needed to make. So they don't need any money from the government, right? But yet, we're giving some states, for instance, California, we're giving them $26 million out of the budget, and it might even be 26 billion. I have to go back and reread that. But we're giving California a lot when they actually developed a surplus during the pandemic. So they don't need the help. So the reason I'm telling you all of this is because this money has to come from somewhere, right? And in order to raise the money to pay for the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, they're going to have to start collecting more taxes. And they decided that they are going to start collecting more taxes. And one of the things that they're going to target is the gig business. And that includes eBay sellers, Amazon sellers, and all of that. Previously, you did not get a 1099 until you made at least $20,000 or had $200 in sales. And that goes for any platform: Mercari, Amazon, eBay, Instacart, Uber, all of them, right? So you could kind of, if you were just a guy that worked a 9 to 5, you wanted to sell a little stuff out of a thrift shop, make maybe $5 extra grand in a year, it went unreported. And I know what people always say, well, you're supposed to claim that money anyways. And if you run a business or you have multiple streams of income that you collect as your total income, you definitely need to be doing that. You're stupid if you don't. But that doesn't really mean that everybody needed to be doing that. Because at the end of the day, the IRS wouldn't need, well, not the IRS, the government wouldn't need to make this new law in order to collect the taxes, right? And so they know that this is going to generate somewhere around $8.4 billion in extra revenue for them to help pay for some of these things that they're putting in the COVID relief bill, which don't include the $1,400 payments. If this was only about the $1,400 payments, I might still be just a little bit mad about it, but I probably wouldn't be that mad about it because, it's going to the people, right? And so I shouldn't care. But this stuff that they're paying for is not going to the damn people. It's not going to any of us. It's going to Iran. It's going to who knows who, right? And it's just sad that they're going to reach into the pockets of the small-time seller to get some more money to pay for this stuff. And it's going to negatively affect us, and it's going to cause people to not want to drive for Uber because they're already trying to make Uber drivers be employees, set a schedule, do all of that. I'm out. As soon as you tell me that, I'm not driving for Uber. And then you tell me on top of that, oh, on top of that, we're going to tax you as soon as you make $600. And you're going to have to start doing that. Now, if you're doing Uber full-time, that's your job, you should be paying taxes on it anyways and claiming it. But you probably made more than 20 grand if you do all of that, right? Like under 20 grand of sales before fees and all of that, it really doesn't come out to a lot of money. Maybe like 5 to 10 grand. If you did really, really well and hit like 50% margins, then yeah. But chances are even 5 grand at 25% margins is a little bit high. So, you know, this doesn't help. Like, this isn't like they're going after people that are making money. They're going after like lemonade stand, everything but lemonade stands now for the most part. I mean, they might as well just start taxing young kids' lemonade stands, right? Why not? I mean, if you're going to tax the guy that made $650 selling junk from yard sales on eBay, then why not just tax little Joe Schmo's 8-year-old lemonade stand, right? Just go ahead and tax it. Tax everything, right? I mean, might as well just tax everything. Tax everything and then give people money. And to me, that's a very dangerous path. I can see where that's going because you're basically saying, we want to de-incentivize you going out. Like, consider this scenario. The government's like, hey, we're going to give you $1,400. And Joe Worker's like, you know what, I'm laid off, but I still don't like taking things for free. So why don't I go out and like at least do a little bit of work for that $1,400? And the government's like, oh, you want to do that? Then we're going to take 20% of it. So it like de-incentivizes people from actually working for the money rather than just sitting around and getting it handed to them. And then because you're like taxing everything extra, you're able to generate more money to hand out more regularly. And I could see this just turning into a slippery slope of, we don't want you going out and doing better for yourself. Here's some free money so you shut up. And like people that don't aspire to get to great places in life, that's going to be just fine for them. That's going to keep people in their place. That's going to keep people as worker bees. And that's going to it's going to stop people from rising up out of different, the different class levels that they're in. And so I don't think that actually gives people more mobility, or at least definitely doesn't give them more financial mobility. It gives them less and turns into them being more dependent on the money that you give them. So stop letting people be independent and earning money on their own. De-incentivize that. Incentivize them just staying home and collecting a free check from the government. I hate it. I freaking hate it, right? I hope this is our last COVID relief bill that we even need. I hope that we're in full stadiums by June. I hope that the masks come off soon, and I don't see any reason why that can't start happening now. I'm not like an anti-masker. I was one of the first people to wear a mask, but I'm saying now, when can this end? Like, we don't have the data we need to continue doing this. We have states all over the United States that all did things differently, and they all ended up with the same result. Everyone had pretty high COVID numbers. Everyone had a pretty similar death rate, whether you closed and shut down the entire economy of your state, or whether you were like Florida and just opened everything up and said, forget about it, right? Texas, any of those states, they all ended up the same. So the success variable was not shutdowns. It may have been masks, we can't really prove that, but shutdowns don't need to continue, right? And I'm kind of going on a tangent, but I really just feel like you don't need to give people money. They can earn it on their own if you just open it up and let them go earn it and don't tax them. I know this video probably ended up being way more political when it really wasn't political, but at the end of the day, this new thing that they're doing, it sucks because it doesn't matter to me. I get a 1099 for every single thing I do, and I claim every single dollar because that's the business I'm in. But I just feel bad for the guy that wants to get started, and he's going to make that first $600, And instead of not having to worry about taxes until he gets built up and gets going, he's going to have to start worrying about that right away. It's going to de-incentivize that, and it's going to stop people from being able to rise up out of the gutter, right? And, I think maybe selfishly, I should think, well, hey, this is going to be better for me. There will be less competition out there doing it. The small fries won't pick the same stuff I'm picking. They won't take my inventory. They won't do whatever, right? But it's not going to end up that way. It's going to end up with people getting audited and people just not wanting to do this for the hassle of doing taxes on it and all of that. And I just feel bad. I feel like it's a terrible thing, and I wanted to put that out there that I'm not with this. I like the idea of, stimulus is cool. Go ahead and give everyone some money right now. That's fine. You shut them down anyways, so you might as well give them a little something back. And you're going to tax them anyways. But it's when you decide that you're going to extra tax people to pay for extra stuff that you put in that bill that has nothing to do with the relief that the people that are okay with being taxed to pay for that stuff are thinking it's about, then I have a problem with it. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to the page in that bottom left corner. I'm always talking about flip stuff. Anything that's relevant to the flip life, I feel like this was very relevant to the flip life because it's going to affect resellers, the small-time resellers. It's going to affect them negatively. If you're making money off of the game, you should be claiming your tax. You're claiming your income anyways without a 1099, but you might not be, and now you're going to have to be. And it's going to, regardless of whether you think everyone's actually doing it the way they should, if they were, then doing it wouldn't generate $8.4 billion in extra revenue. So, like I said, go ahead and like this video if you like the content. Subscribe to the page if you want to see more content like this. Comment what you think is right or wrong about this new COVID relief bill. But in the meantime, keep on flipping.